Honorable Indopets Coordinator Mr. Harry Lapalainen, honorable lecturers from various universities, and honorable participants. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the opening of the second Indopet International webinar from 13 until 15 November 2017. The Indopet International webinar held annually by Simolek and Indopet aims to disseminate upon modernizing Indonesian higher education with tested European pedagogical practices which has been implemented as a pilot projects by Indonesian universities partner. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to present today's agenda. Firstly, remark by Indopet's coordinator. Secondly, opening remark by Deputy Director Administration Simolek. Moving to the next agenda, may I invite Indopet's coordinator, Mr. Harry Lapalainen, to give a remark to all participants. Mr. Lapalainen, you may have the floor.
Selamat siang, guru-guru Indonesia. So, good afternoon, dear colleagues in Indonesia, in other Southeast Asian countries, in Europe, or wherever you are. My name is Harri Lappalainen. I come from Turku University of Applied Sciences, Finland. And I'm going to be your host for the following 15 minutes. I would like to warmly welcome you to the journey of pedagogy. But first I would like to challenge you. I would like you to think for 40 seconds. What are those generic skills and competencies that are needed out there? So in businesses, industry, or even in public sector or NGOs. Please list some of those generic skills and competencies that are needed for effective working. I would like to share with you the findings of the World Economic Forum last year. They made a survey and listed top 10 skills at 2020. Problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, negotiation skills, coordinating with others, flexibility, and so. And when we look at these results, these skills and competencies, we can see that these are quite often needed to make the change, to make something new, to make innovations. I would like to challenge you again. Please think about how would you describe Indonesian learning culture when we speak about primary schools, secondary education, or higher education. Indonesian learning culture. I would like to be a little bit provocative. Maybe some of you have heard these sentences or terms, dikukulan ditiru and datang duduk diam. The first one, dikukulan ditiru, means that teacher must be imitated. Teacher knows everything. So teacher's role is to pour the wisdom to students' heads. And the other one is related to this issue. It is datang duduk diam. Come, sit and listen. What do you think about, are these true? Still in the Indonesian learning culture? Are these effective? Are these up to date? Next we could take a short look at the result from the survey made last year by Ministry of Research, Technology and Higher Education, Morte, in Indonesia. And it was quite a wide survey. Respondents came from 44 public universities, consisting of almost 6,000 lecturers and almost 50,000 students. And the aims or objectives for the survey was to analyze the effectiveness of learning processes in public universities in Indonesia, and also compiling the recommendations for the forthcoming actions. So how to enhance the learning processes in these public universities. And the results. The main results were that the role of lecturer as a facilitator is something that should be seen more in Indonesian universities. Lecturer is not anymore the person who has all the wisdom. Lecturer's job should be facilitate the learning process, mentor or tutor the students and help them to learn. And it is not just a copy-paste process. Interaction among students and lecturers between them was a point that was highlighted for several times in the survey. Also the services for students. Many types of services. So this is about the services and the learning culture in universities should be improved. Students' learning skills should be improved. And lecturer skills to create challenging tasks. This is very interesting finding. Universities are not alone in the society. Lecturers are not alone in creating effective learning processes. One element is how lecturers are cooperating with external stakeholders and giving the challenging tasks for students. This has been seen or done quite effectively already in several European countries, but I would say that this is just coming to Indonesia. It is a question of cooperation between universities and external stakeholders. My main question or worry or concern is that is our higher education overall producing those competencies that really matter, that were listed in the World Economic Forum survey. We started actively to discuss about this issue between several European universities and several Indonesian universities. And we decided together that something must be done. And we prepared a joint project, applied for funding from European Commission and got it, luckily. And now we have the project called IndoPed, and the longer official term or name is modernizing Indonesian higher education with tested European pedagogical practices. So the main aim has been to utilize the expertise and experiences we have in Europe and help our Indonesian colleagues in Indonesian universities to take these in European methods and practices into their daily operations, part of their daily work. We have 5 fabulous Indonesian universities as partners. We have been testing hands-on, really hands-on, these European pedagogical practices in these 5 universities, so that there have been more than 100 teachers and more than 3,000 students participating in our pilots. Additionally, of these universities from Europe and from Indonesia, we have a great one more partner from Indonesia, Seamolek, which is helping us to disseminate our findings and results. And this webinar is hosted by Seamolek. We started our project 2 years ago, October 2015, and we have 1 more year to go. And you can find from internet easily from the website www.indobet.eu more information related to the pedagogical practices Indonesians have been piloting, and also about our partners and many other issues. So please visit that website and learn more. Keywords in our Indobet operation have been competence-based education, so that has to be target real competencies that can be enhanced or should be enhanced in the education processes. Students should be more active, they should take more responsibility about the learning. So then it would be really student-centered learning, not teacher-centered learning. The role of lecturers is changing, world is changing, and the role of lecturers is changing when we speak about student-centered learning. So we have been supporting the lecturers, and it has to be continuous. And peer support is very important, and support also from directors of universities, crucial for the change. Universities shouldn't be any more remoted entities somewhere in their ivory towers. They should be actively doing something useful also for the wider society. And cooperation between universities and businesses, so private companies, is a key for better added value overall in society. And when making the change, we are speaking quite a lot in Europe at the moment about innovation competencies. The competencies students should get, that they would be competent workers in these innovation processes. So they would be possible, it would be possible for them to participate actively in innovation processes. That is our target at our university and many other universities in Europe at the moment. Some words about teachers' role in reform. It's good for everybody of you to know that in the beginning of 1970s, so 45 years ago around, Finland was below the OECD countries' average in social welfare and also in education. And only around 30 years after that, in the first PISA survey 2000, Finland was on the top. How come? We started to invest to teachers and educate them well. We started to invest on education processes, and it pays off. But we are still, now this year again, we have been reforming our primary school system because of the rapid change in the world, and we must also change in education sector. It's good to know for everybody that we can't just stand on and stay there where we are. We have to go forward and make changes all the time. Actually, this was something that I wanted to share with you in my opening remarks for this webinar. As mentioned, please visit www.indobet.eu to find more information. And remember, please remember, in this webinar there will be speakers from Europe, there will be speakers from Indonesia. Listen, learn and ask good questions to learn more and continue that debate with your peers, with your colleagues, also after this webinar. So, enjoy and bye-bye.
Thank you, Mr. Lapalainen. Now, may I please welcome Deputy Director Administration, Mr. Yoni Utomo, to give his opening remark. Please, Mr. Yoni Utomo.
Honorable speakers and participants, greeting from Siamolek, Jakarta, and welcome to the second Indopet International webinar. This event will be held for 3 days, starting today, November 13 to 15, 2017. It is indeed an honor for Siamolek to host such big online event like this webinar. On behalf of Dr. Abdi Sujak, Director of Siamolek, I would like to convey his apology to for not being able to be present in this event as he has other appointments. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, allow me to inform all audience here who are still unfamiliar with Indopet project. It is a project co-funding by Ramos and program of the European Union in modernizing Indonesian higher education with tested European pedagogical practices. This project was started at the end of 2015 until 2018, and it is conducted by 5 European universities, 5 Indonesian universities, and Siamolek. The universities involved in this project are Turku University of Applied Science, Finland, Business Academy Aarhus, Denmark, in Holland Universities of Applied Science, Netherlands, University Ghent, Poland, Universities of Seville, Spain, Bina Nusantara University, Jakarta, Indonesia, State Islamic University of Sarif Hidayatullah, Jakarta, Indonesia, Yogyakarta State University, Yogyakarta, Indonesia, Vidya Mandala Catholic Universities, Surabaya, Indonesia, and Syah Kuala University, Banda Aceh, Indonesia. By introducing and sharing different learning methods from European universities to Indonesian universities partner, it is expected to bring added value to current Indonesian educational system by updating pedagogical approaches and to bridge the gap between what is taught in the universities and what is required by business and industries. This learning method will be put student as a center of learning process, and many of these methods will be used multidisciplinary pedagogical approaches what would allow students to present for the challenges on the labor market. Indeed, in the faculty, in the university, university enterprise are needed to implement this method. During this project, this method are tested and adjusted from European active learning practices and aimed the most valuable ones into the current structure Indonesian partner universities. Ladies and gentlemen, may I inform you that for the past 50 years, Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization, SIAMEO, has proven its existence and experience in the field of education within Southeast Asia region. SIAMOLEC has one of the 21 centers under the CISPIS SIAMEO in envisioning to be the center of expertise in the field of open distance learning, or we call it ODL. The goal of SIAMOLEC is to undertake relevant programs that are responsive to current national and regional needs through the utilization of open distance learning system. Many alternatives of online tools have been introduced by SIAMOLEC to assist its partner in managing and conducting their program. The first and the most used online tool for us is web conference tool. SIAMOLEC usually use web conference tool as one of learning media in distance learning, where studies, meetings, or workshops are conducted over the web. This tool is considered effective and beneficial compared to conventional meeting. It saves time and saves costs. Ladies and gentlemen, the second Indo-Pac International webinar hosted by SIAMOLEC. The first one was held on 20 up to 24 February 2017. By today, there are some more than 500 participants registered to participate in this international webinar, coming from educators of elementary school, secondary school, vocational school, higher education institution, local educational offices, SIAMEO centers, teachers training centers, and other educational institutions from several countries such as Cambodia, Malaysia, Philippines, Timor-Leste, Thailand, Saudi Arabia, and Vietnam. At first, we were limiting our participants up to 200% only, but due to high interest from the participants, we upgraded our system so that it can accommodate up to 1,000 participants now. This time, the objective of this webinar is to disseminate the result of the second pilot Indo-Pac project. The first webinar, we only have 6 learning methods being shared to the audience. But in the second event, we will have 9 learning methods. These methods are mainly for the higher education level, but they are applicable for the vocational education as well. Some of methods are also suitable for to be applied for the elementary school, secondary school, and non-formal education like training or courses. The scope of this method ranging from those that can be done by teachers themselves, by teachers themselves. This time is the objective of the webinar is to disseminate the result of the second IndoPed project. On the first webinar, we only have 6 learning methods being shared, and the audience in this second event will be have 9 methods. These methods are mainly for the higher education level, but they are applicable for vocational education as well. Some of the methods are also suitable to be applied for elementary school, secondary school, and non-formal education like training or courses. The scope of this method ranging from those that can be done by teachers themselves in managing classroom, and some other are involving stakeholders. Ladies and gentlemen, in the past couple of years, IndoPed project have conducted 4 general meetings in Surabaya, Jakarta, Yogyakarta, and Aceh to elaborate result gained from the pilot project. This project also supported by Minister Research, Technology and Higher Education, or we call it MORTE, of Indonesia. On September 26, 2017, Siamolek collaborated with MORTE, had an international discussion forum at the auditorium of the ministry. It was officially opened by the Secretary General, and there were more than 100 participants join this program. To disseminate the overall result of this project, an international seminar is applied to be conducted on 6 up to 7 March 2018 at Yogyakarta State University. And we are expecting management personnel, lecturers of higher education institutions to take part on this event. And after the international seminar, series of smaller workshops in several cities of partner in Indonesia will also be conducted to ensure that many Indonesian lecturers, educators will get more in-depth training to be able to pilot learning method in their own institution. To make sure you are involved in this interesting program. Ladies and gentlemen, at the end, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to Ministry of Education and Culture and Ministry of Research, Technology and Higher Education of Indonesia for Siameo Secretariat for continued support that we always get. To all Indonesian and European partners involved in this project, thank you for your hard work to make this second IndoPed International webinar. We also would like to convey our sincere thanks to all audience in this webinar. Thank you very much for your kind attention, and I do hope that this event will run smoothly for the next 3 days and resulted in the fruitful discussion, knowledge sharing. Good day all the participants, and good day everyone.
Mr. Yoni Utomo. Now we have to come to the end of this opening. Thank you very much for gracing our opening. We will soon conduct the webinar, which will be moderated by Mr. Itfuti and Ms. Ari Susanti. We wish you all a very fruitful webinar. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second Indo-Pet International webinars that hosting by the Simao Semolek and with the important other stakeholders. Today we have three sections. The first section is assessment